What's up, Moose fam? Calling back here for a look at week 25 in the queue for the Halifax Moose. Before we get into that, though, I'm joined by a real special friend, special guest of ours. It's Adam from Wildcast podcast. We've been trying to get him on for a little while now. He was gracious enough to accept our offer. So we're going to just talk about our two teams, just a friendly chat. What goes on at his events, what goes on at our events, and just shoot the shit. So hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. Adam, how you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm good. How about yourself?
Great, man. I'm great. Thanks for agreeing to come on.
No worries. It's much easier to come on after we finally get a win. I'll tell you that much. It was we were not quite sure when we were going to do this, but we are just like, we might, maybe we'll wait till playoffs. Maybe and then we got the win. I was like, yeah, I'll come on. Absolutely. I got no problem with it. Home win, I guess I should say home win.
It's funny. I was thinking that maybe I would have to get one of the Herdcast guys to come on with me before you'd say yes.
Yeah, no, I miss Johnny and Jordan. We had a lot of good times with them. But like what you're doing, and it's good to see more representation in the queue for sure.
Oh, 100%. I think that every team should have one of me or one of you. Our shows are very different from one another, our styles, and I noticed with your podcast, it's a lot more news based, very factual, and I love that. Right? We chose to go a different way with ours, more fan interactive.
Yeah.
Which one isn't better than the other. It's just two different takes on the same sort of thing, and I love it, man. I absolutely love what you guys do. Did I lose you?
I got sound on from my YouTube here. No, I got my own. I'm listening to myself talk instead of trying to get the YouTube chat up. Yeah, so when I started this, I didn't really know what I wanted it to be. I just wanted to get in the podcasting world. I started by myself on a phone and an app and some earphones, and started in the playoffs. And then in the off season, Chris Dobson from Rogers TV kind of said he loved what I was doing, listened every week, which was crazy to me that people listen to me talk about a team that I didn't really know and just moved here 6 months before that. And then he introduced me to Jeremy, and I met Jeremy about 4 days before we actually recorded our first show of season 2. And I'm a big sports guy. I've been into a lot of podcasts, so I kind of have seen what they were about, and I wanted my show to be like that. I wanted it to be a family-oriented show. I do use the odd F-bomb or S-bomb, but I didn't want my podcast to be about that. I wanted to reach all the kids. I didn't want it just for regular people. I wanted kids and their parents to be able to watch this show. So we've adapted things, changed some things around, and I think we got a pretty good base for sure.
Oh, I think you guys have a wonderful product. Now, you're from Alberta originally. Did you watch juniors when you lived there?
I did. Calgary Hitmen fan. I still actually have a jersey hanging up in the closet. Didn't go to as many games there as I would have liked to, just because of life when I was a little bit younger. And then when I moved to Lethbridge, and fun fact, I was actually cheering against Moncton in the 2010 Memorial Cup for one game against Calgary, but cheered for him against Windsor and Brandon. And then when I moved to Lethbridge, I kind of got into the Lethbridge Hurricanes, and I was living on my own, and I was able to go to a lot more games and just kind of reignited my love of junior hockey. I always enjoyed watching it. It was always fun to watch. It's the cheapest form of entertainment of pre-NHLers you can get. And like I said, I met my wife in Calgary. We moved there, and then we moved here. But if I was still in Lethbridge, I probably would have started something with the Hurricanes, because I've always wanted to be in media. I've always wanted to be sports media. And this was an avenue that I could kind of do that.
It's funny. I'm not even a sports nut. I was big into MMA for a while. I'd say about 6 or 7 years. But my wife has never allowed sports in the house until she found the Mooseheads. So now I'm like a chicken with its head cut off. Everything's got to be hockey now because she'll allow it in the house, right? Because I love sports, just wasn't allowed, right? What was I going to say? So I actually have a good friend who was the former captain of the Rebels while you would have been there. Do you know the?
Oh, really?
Do you know the
Who's
name?
that?
Do you know the name Scott Doucette?
No, I didn't really follow the Rebels. Like I didn't follow it the way I normally do, but
Yeah.
like the way I do out here. But um, yeah, no, that name doesn't ring a bell. And fun. Like I lived to an hour and a half from Red Deer, and I think I've gone to one Red Deer Rebels game in my life. So
Wow.
it's just I went to more Calgary Hitmen games, and maybe it was the Dome. And I mean, I lived in Calgary for 6, 7 years, so it was a little bit easier. But he might have come through when I was there.
Yeah, I was. I lived in Black Falls for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kid lives in Pinoca actually.
Oh, I have family in Pinoca. I have a lot of family in Pinoca.
Oh, really?
That's crazy.
Yeah, my ex-wife and my daughter live in Pinoca, and she actually goes to school in Olds, or she's living in Olds right now. So yeah.
I actually went to Pinoca Composite High.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
that's a small world. That's funny.
That's funny. So this season series, we tied it up.
Yeah.
You know, we beat you once in our barn, and you beat us once in your barn, and every other game was road wins.
I mean, in the years I've been here, it's one of the weirder season series I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's just not a season series with Halifax. That's in terms of everyone, like any season series we've had in our division. You know, my favorite saying in the playoffs is "You're not in trouble till you lose at home." Well, it kind of was the same thing as the season series, and it's we, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the bright lights and the fans that actually pack a building for a hockey game, but the Wildcats love to go into Halifax and play their best hockey. And this year, it's worked out. I'm not going to lie, a little worried when you guys held serve at home. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to hold serve at home, but we were able to get one, and it's been a weird series, but it's been good hockey every game.
Yeah,
like even the 8-2 game that we beat you guys. I mean, yeah, the score was 8-2, but Jeremy and I talked about it on the podcast that following week. I think you guys had 3 or 4 quality chances. I believe it was Reynolds who had a backhand that he just missed in the slot. Like 1 or 2 of those go in, and it's a completely different game. And it's been good hockey. Whether you guys got up 4-0 and we kind of chipped away at it, one of the Family Day game. It's been excellent hockey throughout the series. And call me crazy, but maybe without LaRue, you guys aren't as chippy to us, so we can play that style and we can keep up with you in the track meet style game. But it's been very good hockey, no matter which side you're on.
We got Denis this year. I think he's the closest thing we have to a LaRue on the team right now. But I was actually at that game, that family day, whatever it was, game. I think that's the day that we actually met face to face. Was it not?
The Family Day one, yeah. That was the first. I had seen you and I know we're going to get into the difference between Moncton and Halifax, but I think I had seen you because you're usually hanging out with the guy with the belt.
Yeah.
When I was driving and trying to find parking for the Family Day weekend game that we were at, I think I saw you before you were going in, but I was A, trying to figure out where to park, and B, trying to figure out which entrance to go through media. So I wasn't really trying to find people. I was just trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go in that arena.
You guys complain about parking quite a bit, I noticed, but I'm telling you, I would love to have that set up. We pay, dude, every game we pay at least $20 to $22 for parking at the Scotiabank Center, or at the Scotia Square.
So yeah, and it's like 5 years ago when they built the arena, and we came here for a holiday in June of 2017, and they were still in process of building the arena. And so my wife was here in 2010. She's like, "Oh, that's new, that's cool." And then when I got here and started this podcast, I didn't think parking would be what it was, like the bone of contention, because I lived in Calgary where it's $16 just to park at the Saddle Dome before you even walk in the door. Yep. Lethbridge had some free parking depending where you went, but it's been a bone of contention. It still is. It's not too bad because there was a Service Canada parking lot that they were allegedly going to shut the gates on so nobody could park there. Then it would have been a much hectic schedule, or a much hectic parking area. But look, the fans, they were conditioned to drive their car to the Coliseum, park there for no cost, and drive home. It was not a date night. It was not an event like it is in Halifax. It was drive. That's where we want. We walk up the stairs, we leave. It's an event now. You got to market it with events, and Halifax has a downtown arena, which makes it easier. But yeah, it's the people that park. If you're on this and you complain about parking in Moncton, and I said it when I came back that following week, go to Halifax for a game and try to find parking. Good luck. Like, you might as well get a hotel for the night if you're staying overnight and just use their underground parking. That's the best way to get it.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, we show up, we get pretty good parking, but we show up at 4:00 in the afternoon for a 7:00 game, right?
Yeah.
That
makes it easier.
I'm gonna go to the chat for a quick second. Sam says, "Hello, Adam. Hello, Colin. What's up, Sam?" Jesse Steele says, "What happened to Johnny in the stands and the Herdcast? I noticed they don't upload anymore." So I spoke with them. They said that they are planning on getting back to it, whether they do it shortly or next season or what. There's still an interest in it for them to get online again.
I think what happened with them is life.
Yeah.
Johnny on the boards, his son was playing high school football, so I think he was running high school football, like he was the president of it or something. And then his little guy Cash, I believe, is playing football as well. And then I think Jordan moved for his job to Newfoundland, so they just too tough to put the podcast together and try and coordinate times and stuff like that. And we always joke about it. The Mooseheads were in a rebuild, so they don't want to talk about players in a rebuild. They want to wait till they're good. But it was more so life that kind of just happened, I guess. But yeah, if you go back and listen to their episodes and our episodes, kind of in the 2019 season, we were going back and forth. It was a really good rivalry. Both teams were good. You guys were much better as you were hosting the Memorial Cup. We were on the cusp of we tried to host it, and then we tried to build a decent team for the year after. That we would have won the Memorial Cup in 2020. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh no, 100% you would have. You had the team that year. Yeah.
It depends. If you talk to people on the Cape Breton Island, they will give you a different team that would win. But
no,
that was just not. We weren't going to sweep everyone like Quebec did up until the finals last year. But we would have got to Kelowna. We actually had our tickets booked and hotels booked.
That makes next year your year, does it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were planning on building a team to host the Memorial Cup next year, and because of Quebec politics that's starting to get too much into the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League, we were told we were not supposed to bid on it because it has to go to Quebec, which is, I've had many opinions on it, but yeah.
And then after that, it should go to W. And
next year it goes to. Yeah, so it's in Saginaw this year. It'll be in Rimouski next year, and then it goes to the WHL the year after that. Yeah. Really, the whole reason this thing got screwed up is blame Regina, because they had to host the Memorial Cup in the 100th year because they're a 100-year franchise. So the 100th year of the CHL, it was supposed to be in Quebec, which would have been Quebec or St. John, and it ended up having to go to WHL, which kind of threw everything out of the wrinkle. So obviously it came back here. Moncton, Halifax got it, got the bids. Halifax won it, thankfully, because that was my first full season ticket year, and I didn't really have the money to have season tickets, playoff tickets, and Memorial Cup tickets. And then obviously it came back, and St. John got it. So that third year in the Maritime, I get where they're coming from, but also when teams and organizations are building for this 4 or 5 years out, you got to go with who's building it instead of just trying to put it in Quebec, because nothing against Rimouski, but their rink isn't the Avenir Center.
Yeah, that puts 4 years out before we're back in the Maritimes. For another.
Yeah, 2030, I think, is what Jeremy figured out.
Wow, that's 6 years.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, something like that.
Dylan, I sent you the link. Go ahead and join in if you feel so inclined. Yes, Trevor, LFD or LFG LFD. Jesse, dude has his room painted in Moncton colors. Colin, you should paint your room in Moose colors.
So you talk about your wife not being a sports person and finding the Mooseheads. Mine has been unbelievably accepting of everything I do. She's been my biggest supporter. And yes, our first house before this house, we went into one of the spare rooms, and it actually was moosehead green.
Hey.
So I painted that real quick, got rid of that real quick. Can't have a Wildcat podcast in moosehead green. And then when we bought this house, we turned this into her office / my room. So it's actually, it looks like the room is painted, but it's actually just a corner. And then I got obviously the banner. I can't move my camera, but I got a qmjhl media banner from 2019 before they changed the logo. And then, yeah, just got some stuff on the wall. But yeah, the corner is painted, and that's the only part that's painted. So I thank her quite a bit that she allows me to do that.
And for those of you who haven't tuned into Adam's podcast there, go check it out. It's a Wildcast podcast. He has a really cool table where he's sitting right now that he painted to look like a hockey rink, like the hockey ice.
Yeah, if you're going to talk about the table, I'll get off this camera and I'll move it so you can see the table, everyone. And it's not as expensive, or it's not as neat as you think. It's a $5 outdoor barbecue table.
Oh. What's up, brother? He's just showing us the table.
Going on?
What's up, buddy? He's just showing us the table. Look at that. I love that. Absolutely love that.
And that's basically that's about as much as what's painted on the studio. So
nice.
I'm hoping that's the right spot.
So Adam does have a co-host. Jeremy's his co-host, but Jeremy doesn't normally get there till it's time to do the weekly review, so he couldn't be on today. I believe Jeremy works a little later, hence the reason he couldn't be here, correct?
Yes. So we usually shoot at 7, so he works and gets his they have meals and stuff with his daughter and all that, and then he pops over at 7.
So let's we spoke of a season series record. Let's get into the nitty gritty, the bit of chippy stuff that's been going on between a couple of players who share a person in common. Do they not, Dylan?
Yeah, Smith and that guy right there, Dylan McKinnon. They share an agent, so they're obviously not strangers to one another. Like, they probably work out a little bit together, like in the off seasons and stuff. So it's funny that they get as chippy as they do, but at the same time, they're doing their job for each of their teams, right?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, and they're doing what they can under the quote unquote new rules of what they're allowed to do. But it's fun to watch, and I didn't realize when you said it, but he's. They do kind of miss Gabe Smith, and he was a presence in the last game that he wasn't in the one there, but he was a presence against you guys, just getting under McKinnon. And if we get 7 games of that, it's going to be interesting to see how they play against each other.
Well, he's an annoying kid.
We definitely noticed the difference without him. Yeah. At least I did, without him being in the lineup when you guys were here. I noticed a big difference.
Which I guess maybe we don't, because we see him all the time.
No. And most of your fans don't like him.
McKinnon or Smith?
Smith.
Both of them.
Yeah, they don't like McKinnon, obviously. I think Smith. I think it's just I don't know. They like kind of the presence he brings, but sometimes a lot of it is Carrier. And Carrier was our 6th overall pick, and they don't understand why he's not higher in the lineup. And I think they think, well, the speed factor and the foot speed, Carrier, hands and whatnot should be where he is. So I think that's kind of what happens there.
Oh, so they're just upset that one of the other players doesn't get as much time.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, but you know what? They probably bring completely different skill sets, and Smith is probably needed with his skill set. Smith isn't a scorer by no means, but he does a very good job of getting under people's skins, and he's very aggressive on the forecheck. Like, he's, you know what I mean? Like, he's a good player. As much as I can't stand him, he's a good player.
He is, and he's got a role, and he plays it to what he needs to play. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this in the 9 games I think we played, or whatever we played. when your forwards go to the front of the net, they don't get tied up as much. Like that last game where you guys beat us 3-1. I mean, every single goal was a backdoor tap in pass.
Yep.
You watch the Wildcats go to the net, and whether it's Furlong, McKinnon, Schultz, they are putting a body and a stick to someone, and they're making it tough in front of the net. And, Smith does a good job of getting in there and at least tying up one defenseman so that there's room for other guys to make some hay and maybe get one of those backdoor passes.
I got to give credit. As much as I trashed on him in the beginning of the season, that's new. Our defense was not like that. We were an outscoring team, and Midgley came in this year, and I feel like he really focused on defense with our team this year.
Yeah.
Well, also, our defense normally doesn't do that. They only really do it against Moncton. A lot of the time, the other team has guys just sitting rent-free in front of Russo or Milner and just allowing the rebounds to just go wild.
Maybe so, but their sticks are always tying up who's ever in front of the net.
Yeah,
I notice that a lot. Their sticks are down on the ice before the opponents are. So we got some comments here. He's a turnover machine. I believe that's our
guy.
That's Ryan.
That's Ryan. Yeah.
He's no worse than LaRue. Michael says.
Mike Brinson. Yeah.
And Jesse says I can't stand Trent Holm. Trent Holm's a Cole Harbor boy. It's where I live. I don't really want to say too much bad about him. Melissa says LaRue is an incredible player. 100%.
If he's on your team, absolutely.
Yeah.
If he's not on your team, no, he's not. We
noticed that when we were up there last year in the playoffs.
Yeah. He if he's on your team, he's unbelievable. When he's not on your team, he's not. And he plays the line, and he's just lucky, honestly, that he played in the queue when he did, because I don't think he could be the type of player he is if he was in the queue this year and on like that. No fighting. I think he would have struggled to be the type of hockey player he was.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's not like he didn't have his fair share of suspensions.
No, that's what I mean.
Right,
like he would struggle in this era of no fighting and all that. Like he has, when he plays with an edge, he's so much better. And I don't think he'd be able to really play with that edge in the fighting. Like that's what got him going. He's better that he played when he did than as opposed to right now. I think he might not struggle, but it would be different for him.
The only reason I disagree with that is because ever since his hit on your boy here in our barn, he was under a microscope, and he skated away from every altercation since that hit. He didn't get one suspension. He didn't get in one fight the whole playoffs, and I think 10 games leading up to the playoffs. And he was a dominating force on the ice for us in the playoffs. Dominating. So I think he could, he's probably one of the more talented kids I've ever seen come through our system, and I think that he could play in any league at any time with any other players. Like he's just incredible.
Yeah, he's playing well in the American Hockey League.
He is.
He could, but he wouldn't want to.
No.
I think the reason he was have to be like that is because I think maybe somebody higher up, whether it's somebody with our team or somebody with Nashville or his agent or somebody, talked to him, being like, "Hey, you gotta calm down. You gotta calm it down a bit." And when he got to the playoffs, let's not forget, last year was his first playoffs, his first and only playoffs in the league. Yep. Because there was the one where he was with you guys there, and you guys would have won it, but COVID happened. And then the year after that, there was no playoffs. The year after that, they didn't allow Halifax and Cape Breton to be in because of the Nova Scotia laws. And then he was injured the year after that. So last year was his only year.
Jesus.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I forgot about that.
So Michael, one of your Michelle. One of your fans says, "What are you guys' thoughts on no fighting rule?"
Love it. It's best rule ever, Michelle. Love it. She knows I'm joking. She knows I'm joking.
Do we believe that?
No, I'll let you guys answer that.
I think it's stupid. I think that the last game that we played, who was it? Islanders, where we got in a bunch of those fights. I think a lot of those brawls.
Well, there was no
hits,
fights.
Whatever it was.
Nobody dropped the gloves. There was no fighting penalty called.
Yeah,
there were no fights.
There
was no brawl.
Whatever you want to call it. I call it a brawl. Brawl doesn't have to be fists. Anyways, a lot of the bad hits would be stopped. I mean, if you have to worry about some big guy coming and pounding your skull in, you're not going to be as... I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. It's a form of self-policing, and I think that all hockey needs it.
So at the same time, though, they've always... The rule hasn't really changed that much if you think about it.
No.
Previously, they would fight, they would get 5, and then they would be back out on the ice. Now all it is they're gone for that game, unless somebody is assessed an aggressor or an instigator. Then they get the suspension. And then after that, similar to what it has been previous year, your second fight, then you would get a suspension because of accumulation of fights, and so on and so on. It would stack. So really, the only part or the only rule that has actually changed is you are now officially kicked out of that game for sure, no matter what. And then depending on the penalties that they give you, whether you're kicked out of the next games or not. Right? So fighting is still there. It's just, it doesn't happen as much.
And as far as...
You're 100%, sorry, Colin. You're 100% right. Like, the ban on fighting, you can still fight. Gabe Smith's been in 2. He was in one in Gatineau, he got kicked out, and then the one with Matteo Mann, he got a suspension because that was accumulation of fights. I had said from the word go, if you're going to get rid of fighting, great. If that's what you want to do, fine. I don't care. I don't go to hockey to watch fights. I don't. You got to get more aggressive on the cheap shots and the hits from behind and the blindside hits.
Yep.
And I think they've done a pretty good job this year in doing that. I mean, I think it was Catafor that hit Sump 2 years ago. That's probably not a suspension because somebody's jumping him and Smith tried to fight him and then McKinnon fought Smith or tangled with Smith.
He kind of ragdolled Smith.
Yeah, that hit isn't suspended 2 years ago because they're going to be fighting, right? Like they're trying to be more lenient on those type of hits, which is all I want. Take fighting out, great. Then you have to be worried about the blind side because that is more dangerous to a head than, hey, would you like to punch me in the face? Sure. Would you like me to punch you in the face? Cool. We both know we're going to punch each other in the face. At least you know what's coming.
Yeah, I agree.
And then a lot of the time that ends with a tap on the shoulder of good job, good go.
Yeah. And the officials too. Like, I know that the league does not want the fighting, but man, they got to figure out when to jump in because the last thing you want to do is if these guys really want to go and one guy can get his gloves off before because the lineman is in the wrong position and he can tag the guy, that's even worse.
Yeah, I think I don't know. You have a different opinion than I do on the officiating this year. I don't think it's been as good as you think it is. I've seen a lot of cheap hits that go unnoticed, and that's my take on it. Top 3 boys on your team, go. Now that doesn't mean the top points getters. It could be somebody with 0 points but does well at something else. So name the top 3 people on your team, in your opinion.
On my team?
Yeah.
Oh man, Miles Mueller's there. That guy, I have talked to his parents a couple times, and I'm doing my best to try and let him stay for one more year. I mean, you guys saw it in the last game, the hat trick he had. I know, Colin, you're like, he can stop now, like anytime. And that's a player, like a 10th round pick that nobody thought would be where he is. And he got like 3 games, and Jeremy and I joke like, all right, he's coming up for 3 games. That won't last. And then he carved himself a PK role, and he's one of the best PK killers with Tybal last year. And then this year, if you asked 100 Wildcat fans, 5 maybe would have predicted he had 30 goals. So Miles Mueller's obviously one of them. He's up there. I mean, Steinman has been everything we could ask for. He holds us in a lot of games. Some of the nights he's the reason the scores stay closer when the team hasn't quite arrived yet. Usually the 7 p.m. games, we like to start at 7:30 in this second half of the season. And then Olivier Boutin. 4 years in Gatineau, you don't really watch players in Quebec. you see him twice a year when they play your team, and you're not sitting down on a Saturday when Halifax or Moncton are playing to watch Gatineau and Val-d'Or just to scout a guy that might show up on your roster in 3 years. So to get him, he's covered up a lot of mistakes on the back end, and he's been very good for us. So those will probably be my three that I've just really enjoyed. Points aside, because it's easy to go points aside, but yeah, it'd probably be those three. What do you guys got?
Dylan, go ahead.
Well, if I lean on looking at your team, I would have thought for sure Sumpf would have been up there for you, because that kid right there, the scouting from your team to pick him up as a free agent is absolutely insane. The fact that you guys
and not count as a Euro.
Exactly. Like, that is insane. So, like, credit to whoever found him. Like, but that guy there is absolutely dominant. He's going to be dominant for a while wherever he goes.
Dylan, top three
he's been, once he figured out the game, he's been very good.
Top three on the Moose, Dylan, go.
Oh, I got to go Cataford there.
All right.
Cataford has been the guy that I've been watching since we picked him up. Since day one, I picked this kid's going to be an absolute stud. I find he's one of, if not the strongest on the puck for the team. Like, when he has the puck and he doesn't want anybody to get it, I feel nobody's getting it from him. If he parks himself in front of the net, nobody's moving him. Schulte, simply, I find he's a little bit more offensive this year, but he was our most solid defenseman. I think he's just reliable no matter where you put him out there, with the exception of maybe putting him on forward, because he just looked lost out there that game. But we had like 6 defensemen playing forward at that point.
That was a fun one.
That was funny.
It was actually a very fun game to watch.
We
to look at
the loss.
To look at your stat or your lineup and be like, oh, this should be that's the game you go as a. I have zero expectations how this is going to go, and I want them to impress me.
Yeah, no, it was great.
So, I went into that game. It was, let's see who actually wants to play.
Yeah.
So, and my last one, I would actually have to give it to Todd.
Yeah.
Because he is one of those guys, no matter what his size, he went from last year legitimately fighting for a spot on the roster in the lineup to play. And then this year, he's a solid centerman for us. He's good on the penalty kill. He's out there blocking shots. I find every single time he steps on the ice, he plays as hard as he can. Really that whole third or fourth line
has been great.
When they're out there, they go out there, and I'll give Moncton credit here. When it's an 8-2 game, they're out there still working hard, where a lot of other people have kind of slacked off and feel like giving up. So I'd have to throw him in there for that reason.
I'm going to differ from you. I'm going to go 3-2-1. First of all, I don't think Cataford will ever don a Wildcats jersey there, Ryan. I think there's other players.
I don't think he'll be in blue and gray, I do believe.
I agree. So I'm going to go 3-2-1. Third best in
mine was no particular order. So mine was just
mine is I'm going to go Schulte 3. Same reasons as Dylan, except for I think he's even better defenseman this year than he was last year. Russo. You can't have a top 3 list, in my opinion, without including the best goalie in Canada. And then Vidicek. Vidicek, when we're down, it seems like he always comes through for us. And yeah, that's my list.
Not a bad list from either of you. How do you guys feel about Russo in the playoffs? Like, for a goaltender that's leading the queue or close to leading the queue, representing Canada, are you worried about him being burnt out?
No.
Because there's a lot of outside chatter about a lot of games last year, Canada. He just hasn't looked right. But again, not looking right, he's one of the league leaders in, I believe, save percentage.
So he hasn't looked right. He hasn't seemed right since coming back from the juniors.
Yeah.
But
again,
last week.
Like playoffs is a different animal, but
until last week.
The past couple of games, he's really something clicked in his head, and everybody around the building is looking at him when he's out there, and we're like, he's back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 1,000,000%.
Right.
Yeah, Russo, and here's the thing with Russo, he's gotten his breaks. We play Milner, well, except for the last couple of weeks. We've played Milner quite a bit. He's had his breaks, and our schedule has not been nearly as bad as your guys. Like, I feel bad for your guys' schedule. We've had pretty good schedules, and so the boys are well rested, I feel.
Yeah, our schedule's been tough in the second half, but and that was one of the wonders on when we did the Maritime Roundtable trade speculation. Were you guys going to acquire a second goaltender, a veteran backup? And I looked at your schedule and I was like, I think they can get away with Milner playing certain games. And at that time, I was like playing the Bathursts and the St. John's and the Valdors and stuff like that. Like, you can get away with playing him, and that's exactly what you guys have been able to do, is rest Rousseau to give him the breaks that he needs.
And Milner's impressed the hell out of me.
Milner, people were hating on him at the start of the year for us. Like a lot of people. And I said it since before training camp. You can ask Colin, because we were sitting together during the training camp. I was like, give this kid a chance. That's all you got to give this kid a chance. Give him time in the net, and he will show you why he is the goalie to be behind Russo at this time.
Mm-hmm. I want to imagine in the beginning.
And in my opinion, and I know in 95% of the building's opinion, he's shown that ability, especially when Russo went to Canada, right? Yeah. When he went to go represent Team Canada, Milner really stepped it up. But that's the thing, you got to give your backup goalies a chance to play, or else they're not going to improve. They're not going to have that experience.
Now,
go ahead,
Adam. If it's getting too long for you, man, just let us know.
No, I've still got some time.
Okay, cool. Continue, Dylan.
I just got one question for you guys. If Steinman were to go down, how confident are you in your goaltending?
Warren?
100% confident. And we haven't been able to say that in 3 years. And this is not a shot at Filion. But he came in with a lot of expectations, and the Wildcats didn't allow him to grow, didn't allow him to develop. They went out and got Dakota Lund Cornish. They went out and got Lemieux. They insulated him with 20s and almost were scared to play him. And when you're scared to play a goaltender, your team doesn't generally have confidence in that goaltender. And that's why Steinman kind of took the net. Even Thomas Couture was here for half a season. So they kind of didn't allow him to develop. The Wildcats haven't developed a goaltender properly since Nick Riopel. But this is the first year where, not many 14th round picks play in the queue, and like in year 2. And I think him going to Yarmouth and having the championship season he did, the Vrensons that are in here saw him play a lot in Yarmouth, and we're saying, this kid's got it. This kid's figured it out. I'm 100% confident. He didn't lose a game in regulation in his first 12 starts. He took a loss in the Drummondville 11-1 ass kicking, and which wasn't his fault. Nobody else showed up. And I think his first regular season loss was one of the other St. John games where the team didn't show up. So if he has to go, we're 100% confident that he can steal a couple games and, keep us in it.
I said it in your live the other night. I actually like Warren more than Steinman. I think he's going to do wonders for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like these two off ice, from everything I've heard underneath in behind the scenes kind of thing. These two are as good of friends as you want for backup goaltenders. There's no real, internal competition. Like, there's an internal competition, but not like in a bad way. Like, I don't want him to play. I should be starting, that kind of thing. And I think that's just going to bode well for next year in terms of keeping Steinman as a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old Keegan Warren as your backup. I think they can 50-50 the starts maybe next year, or 60-30 it. But if Steinman was to go down, I'd have zero worries about putting Keegan Warren in that net.
So what do you think of your third string?
we don't really have a third string.
You got to have a third backup.
Yeah, I mean, we got Simon Cormier from the Flyers. He's in the championship right now. If he had to come up and be a backup, I mean, he's only taken warm up. Really, he's never really played. Eli James has been all right. And what's that?
You have confidence in him opening the door.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Maverick Welk was a free agent. He struggled in preseason, but in terms of he was coming from basically junior B in Ontario level to up into major junior, that's a big leap. Steinman was able to do it. It took him a little bit to get going, but yeah, I mean, if it was Cormier or Welk, there's not a shot at them because they're kids, but man, just if they can just open the door, we're cool. If Warren's our guy and they're just backing up, we're okay.
So they just don't have the experience yet, is all.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So this next one's kind of interesting. First of all, Melissa, honey, if you're watching, can you have CJ bring me up a water? I am getting parched. But this next one is interesting because you and Dylan have the same opinion on it, but reversed. So I spoke with Ryan, our production manager, at the Herd or at the Scotiabank Center, and I let him know your kind words, what you thought about Halifax's production when there's a game. Yeah. And he first of all said thank you very much. He appreciates the kind words. So Dylan thinks your production is a little better, and you think our production is a little better. So why don't we get into some of the differences that each venue and each team gets into while at each game.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so
because I'm shocked by that answer from Dylan. I'm shocked. I know Jeremy just got here, so I got a little bit of time left, but I'm flat out shocked by that.
So my thing is, and Colin's not going to like me say this. He asked me not to say it, but screw you, Colin. I'm going to say it anyway. And it's not a knock towards anybody by any means, but I personally myself, I like the music better in Moncton. That I like it. What John plays is fine, but I think it's because I hear it all the time for so long. Yeah. I think the freshness of hearing different stuff and the way that it's mixed in with the organ and your guys' lights.
I hate the organ.
And your guys' mascot as well goes up and down the aisleway, interacting with the fans, not just walking around the concourse. And
just open the door.
And just things like that. I find you guys do a much better job at that than what happens here, in my opinion.
And I feel like we're on the same wavelength. If you like the production in Moncton, you must love watching commercials on TV. Like, man, that's the biggest thing for me is like, yeah, we have the state-of-the-art lights and the state-of-the-art building, but there's so much more they could do. I mean, I've been on the backdrop for 3 years of putting a camera on the walkout. If your fans go to the Lethbridge Hurricanes and just go like 2014, 2015 intros, they do the intro and then they film the team walking out. We have one of the coolest dressing rooms. They spend a ton of money to make it an NHL. Nobody ever sees it. They did it for a while. But yeah, it's too many commercials. It's too commercialized for me. And again, I think I'm the same with you, Dylan. I see it every game. So when I go to Halifax, 0 commercials. There's Ask a Moosehead. There's little videos on different things about Mooseheads. There's more fan interaction. It's more fan friendly and it's less commercialized, which I think goes back to when they were at the Coliseum. Fans here were trained to, it's not a date night. It's not an event. It's not something you want to be seen at. Like, it's cool to be seen at. It's drive your car, park, go to the game, enjoy the game, drive home. Now in Halifax, it's go to the game, go to a pub down the street, and Moncton's trying to get there with the new arena, but it's going to take some time. So yeah, we do have a good setup, but it's just, I wish there was just a little bit more.
I also think part of that is a factor of when I go up to your building, your guys' holds, not 100% sure, like 8,500 approximately.
86, 87.
86, 87, whereas ours is 10,595 at a sold out building. So when people do come here, and I do see that side of it, when people do come here, there's so many people, it does feel like a special big event.
Yeah. But let's be honest, when we're talking about sold out events and stuff, you guys have only had 3 games at home this year that it was over 6,000, correct?
Actually, I looked one of the other lives, and it's about 7 that were at over 6,000. Okay. So, right. But again, it's difficult to get everyone because there's still that stigma of, well, it doesn't help when your team loses 9 of 10 every January. That doesn't help ticket sales. But yeah, it's just a situation where I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's ticket deals or what, but sometimes it's a struggle.
I think you need to promote your season tickets a little better. 5,500 of our sold out tickets are season ticket holders,
which is the max.
Which is the max. So
I think when I look at it, the season ticket deals have been the same since like 2018. So there's like the benefits, I guess.
We can actually hold 11,093, says Trevor.
That's not for hockey.
Oh,
and I see some of your
capacity with people in the building, but the actual stands, like seats wise, is 10,595.
Michelle says your guys' fans are quiet.
Too quiet because they're 65 and older, and they just want to watch a hockey game and go home.
So that I will agree with, because every time I'm in your guys' building, the amount of looks that I get simply for being loud is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. And they used to allow it in the Coliseum. Like, security wasn't that big. I guess there are rumors that security like that we have now is going to come into the Coliseum, but I hope that for the playoff run they allow, like they did in 2019, I think, where they allowed noisemakers, they allowed flags, they allowed like for the longest time you couldn't bring a flag in. Like, come on.
So last year in the playoffs, I actually almost got kicked out of your guys' building because I was banging on the glass.
Yep. Yeah,
I was banging on the glass in the security game now, and he goes, there was a middle of us, like a little scuffle right in front of us.
Yeah.
And he came down and he goes, no banging on the glass. We're like, it's a hockey game. He goes, yeah, you're going to upset them. I was like, they're not fish.
I got to get to a comment. I have to get to a comment. So I've never seen her. She may watch us, but I've never seen her in the chat before. So thank you so much for joining us, Mama Joe. So if this happened in our building, it would be changed instantly. Joanne says Tyler doesn't like the horn.
Neither do I.
If Tyler didn't like the horn in the Scotiabank Center, I guarantee you it would be taken out.
I'm not a fan of the train horn. I don't mind it, but sometimes they get a little excessive on it. But yeah, it was built on an old train tracks, and so that's what they're using. That's the only thing from being the land that they're on with the old train station that they really lean into. But yeah, no, I'm kind of with them. Man, we just got a new goal song for Pete's sake, like last year, or this year, from, I think it was there for 4.5 years. Like, it takes a while to get stuff, but yeah, I'm kind of with it. I don't
new goal song every year.
Yeah.
Oh, not goal song. We get a new win song every year. We have the same goal. We need a new goal song. We've had the same one since, I don't even know.
So
John, that long.
John, you want to let us know how long we've had that goal song, and if there's any plans on changing it in the future? John,
I don't know who came up with ours, but they went with Poison. Nothing but a good time. And as a kid who grew up playing hockey in the 90s with Poison being as big as they were, I just about wet myself when that song came on. I was so excited.
It's a goal song.
It's the best goal song every time in the league. Like, best goal song in the league. But
I say it to call, and I hate to hear it, but it's a wicked song when it happens.
Yeah. But boys, I got to get out of here. I got a show to do. This has been awesome. I hope sometime we'll get Jeremy on. Maybe if we get over the hump of getting past you guys in the playoffs, we'll have him on to glow. But
if we
doesn't look like you will.
We got to get over. Hey, the first hump was beating you at home. That was step one.
That's because this wasn't in the building.
Yeah. And now step 2 is, well, first of all, both of us getting to round 2. I mean, your guys' playoff series is confirmed. What are your out of 10? What's your confidence level in getting to round 2 against Bathurst before I get out of here?
7.
8.
So you're the only, yeah. Because from all I read, you guys are. Everybody else seems to be worried about Bathurst.
No, I'm not.
I'm worried.
I'm not.
I'm worried, but
Yeah.
Bathurst is the most physical team in the Maritimes.
Yeah,
100%. And that gives us problems.
I'm pretty confident. I think we're good, and we got a really good schedule too. All our home games are on the weekend.
Well, that's how it works when you get home ice advantage.
Yeah,
yeah.
We got a good schedule.
You'd think that's how that works, but here in Moncton, it's gonna be a drop off. But again, I appreciate you guys having me on. I know I went a little long on your live.
No, I love it.
Hopefully your fans like it, and you guys are doing good things with this show and continuing to promote it. And we'll do what we can, and we'll either see you for round 2 or we'll see you at the draft. Correct, Colin?
Yes, sir. Hope them to be there. Send me that info as soon as you get it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, guys. You
Thanks
have a good
again,
one.
man. Take care. Gonna wait to Adam to. No, you're still on.
What's the score?
All right, I'm gonna kick
the
him.
Max. Jack Hayne this weekend.
Reverse sweep, possibly.
There we go.
There we go. All right, so that was Adam from the Wildcast. Great guy. I love.
I want to
show.
take a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was late. I was sleeping.
No.
Because I was told this wasn't happening.
Yeah, so a bit of confusion. My daughter had to go to competitive skit practice. I was told I was driving them. I wasn't supposed to be driving them, so last minute I made another post. And Steve wants the link. All right. Oh, good one, man.
Yeah, it was about a 2.
So, yeah, it wasn't that great. You're right.
It didn't have any base or length.
Why can't I?
Dude, I work construction. We're bad for that. Whenever we hear somebody burp, if they burp down the hall, we'll yell down a ranking out of 10, just out of pure boredom. I was a 6.
Listen, any Wildcats fans still in the chat, thank you for joining us. You're more than welcome to join us for the rest. We won't be discussing the Wildcats anymore, other than the game that we played against them. But
I want to put up. Michelle said one thing while Adam was still in here, and it goes, "Dylan is right. He is loud, and our fans give him a hard time."
And that's another thing. I'm sorry I couldn't get to any of the comments. We had a lot to say with him, and there was very little time for any of us to get a word in edgewise. So I apologize I didn't get to many of the comments.
Yeah, so our goal song has been Pipe Dreams, and it's been since before the Memorial Cup, so it's been over 10 years.
Don't believe there's any plans to change it. Okay, what up, Steve?
Hey, how you guys doing?
See, I told you, Dylan doesn't normally wear a jersey.
I don't care. It was it's playoff. It's going to be playoff soon. So
yep.
And since it was our last home game, so I'm going to wear my Memorial Cup one.
So we did a little different this time. We didn't go through the games and show everybody the replays, which is fine, because we had that interview with.
I may not wear a jersey, but I always have one close.
With the Herdcast guys, Wildcast. Why do I keep calling them Herdcast?
Because you're a Moose fan.
Fuck. Wildcats cast guys. So let's just jump right into it, man. Game 1, Halifax Islanders 4-2. Go. They played. That was a good game.
The PK showed up, and I say, well, both units showed up. Power play and showed up. And
what do we go
again?
2 for 3?
Vivicek again back in shutting in. So he loves his backhand, I guess.
Yeah, no, he's been a beast, man.
Most of his shots are backhand.
Yeah, except Lou Philippe Denis, right? A straight in tip or a straight shot. That's all he does, and that's great. So
it got a little chippy.
The lines that they put up with on this game and the last game, I think the lines works good.
Yep, and
they get the pressure where they needed to. At times, it was a little bit slow, but again, that's a transition from the third line to the first line. I would like better to have the fourth line to go get replaced right over the first line, not the second. Like get a little bit more
Depth.
because you get your energy line, it's your fourth line.
So
regardless.
I wanna touch base on one thing you said about the like the penalty kill and everything showing up. Penalty kill was only out there once. We only had they only had one power play against us. All right, so and I don't even think it lasted that long. I think they got one not long after.
I think it was half or something, a minute or something like that.
Yeah, but we went 2 for 4, so we went 50% on the power play that time.
Yeah,
we had they had 22 minutes in penalty minutes by the end of the game, and we had 16.
Jeez.
Colin, did you ever end up getting your water?
Yeah, I did. My wife brought it up to me. Love you, baby. So Denis was a wrecking machine against the Islanders. 1,000,000%. That kid's incredible. Like, he's been incredible. Like just let's just say the last like 5 games, his physicality has spiked. Not that he wasn't physical before, but it seems like he's even more physical the last 5 to 6 games than he was since we got him. What do you guys think?
So him and Schultz actually had the same amount of hits that game. They each had 5, or they were each credited with 5 hits.
But and also the all 3 20-year-old played really well too. I think they were humble with the beginning of the game too. So I think Moravec was more stressed than the other 2 because the other 2 is from another team, right? So just Moravec was more implicated with us than Peter and Lou Felix Denis, right? So it showed he had a little bit of nervous there on the defense, but that's fine. Like,
well, it's been showing all year, feels like. But Denis has been an absolute wrecking ball for us. Like, we saw it when he first came in, and then he kind of settled down a bit.
Yep.
And then stepped right back up and was absolutely killing it.
I'm going to give credit to Trevor and then for the LFD or LFD. I think he feels loved and it's making him play better.
Bravo. I just hope he continues to play on that line but not cross it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's more important to us to have on the ice than sitting on the box or up in the press or in the penalty box or up in the press box.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay? We need him more on the ice than we need him sitting anywhere else. What are there times? Yes, like when things can happen. But if he can hone in the discipline just a little bit, I think it'd be top notch. It's the same issue I had with Zach every year he was with us.
Melissa says it's like he has "I don't give a fuck" written in his eyes.
Well,
I got one comment though, with the scores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, did we did good in the second period or we did not? Because according to the scoreboard, we had like 2 goals in the first and 2 goals in the third, and the second was they scored there, and of course the hit at the end with Jack Martin there. I said a different thing.
So I said that we played 50 minutes that game, and we dropped the ball in the second for a half period.
So how do you do a practice?
Yeah,
first
definitely.
Half.
Yeah, first half of the second period, exactly. And then we came on strong.
That's where they scored. Oh, well.
No, we scored in the first half of the period because we scored 1 goal in the first, 1 goal in the second, and 2 goals in the third.
Okay. Regardless, it was in the second period. We dropped the ball at some point.
Oh no, we dropped the ball in the first 10 minutes of the period.
Yeah.
Right. We just happened to score there, and it's funny because they scored in the second half of the period, which when I felt we actually played was the better half of the 2. They got 2 goals in the second.
You know what's funny about the Eagles is Moncton's really worried about them. And how
did we get on the Eagles?
Oh, sorry, Charlottetown. They were really worried about them. Like, they did not want to play Islanders at all. Like, they said, you guys are better off playing Bathurst than the Islanders. And I'm like, I didn't see it. I haven't seen it all year.
Islanders are easier to beat. They have
1,000,000%.
They have no goaltending.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. They were
Their
horrible.
biggest issue is goaltending.
But yeah, Steve, you were mentioning we did do that hit on from Martin in the third period. It was a clean hit. There was very little contact, to be exact. Check it out. I put a video up on YouTube, slowing it down, and there was very little contact, and the elbow came up well after the contact. It was a very clean hit, and they got spicy over nothing.
That was the scrum that we call that just cat fight, basically.
Yeah, essentially. But they were frustrated, and I think that's what took over is their emotions during that little scrum.
That was our turning point to be more motivated to beat them. So I mean, that was actually the point that they just let go and like, okay, let's get this done and get the. I think they got the empty netter. I think we did the empty netter in the third.
Yeah, it was Crosby.
Yeah, Crosby again. Yeah. Crosby just keep going and try to get his goal, right? And he's a couple goals in like a few games now.
Do you like him down?
He's doing really good.
Do you like him down on the lower lines?
I think he does better in lower line than the top line.
You think?
He works on the boards quite a bit when he gets into it, and I believe for him it might be our 20-year-old next year. It might be. I don't know, but
Crosby's not even 19.
Yeah, Crosby's only 19 next year.
He's draft eligible this year.
Yeah.
So he's 18. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if he gets drafted or not.
I like him up on the Lou line. I like seeing him and Lou together. Personally.
I do too, but Lou hasn't been there.
No, Lou has not been performing ever since he came back from his injury. I think he had 2 goals since his injury or something like that. He just can't finish. He gets a lot of breaks, a lot of looks, but he just can't finish lately. And I keep praying for him just to get a goal, because I think once he gets a goal and he gets on that hot streak and he gets the monkey off his back, I think he'll be back, and we need him for playoffs.
I'm interested to see how he's going to be in playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are talking about is Dumais going to play in the playoffs? Is he going to come back? Is all of that stuff with him and everything that's going on? But last year in the playoffs, whether he was hurt or not, Dumais wasn't really a big factor.
No, he wasn't.
Right?
No.
This year in the juniors, he had to go for the surgery, but he wasn't a big factor.
So right? let's be, while you're saying that, and I know I feel like I'm constantly defending Dumais right now, but keep in mind during the playoffs he played hurt last year. He was injured last year. And he played through it, right? So him not being a key factor last year could have something to do with that. When he came back from camp.
But if he's hurt, take him off the top line.
Agreed. So, well, he's not hurt now. But when he came back from camp at the beginning of the year, his first game in, he got 5 points. You know what I mean?
But he dominated last year in the regular season and didn't really show up in the playoffs.
Well, again,
he dominated, but he dominated this year in the regular season when he played. Is he going to show up in the playoffs, or is it going to be a trend?
It's all speculation.
I think Vivicek will get back with his teammate and Cataford. I think they'll be the 3 guys that are going to go back together. But
that's the magic line.
There's 2.
I think they will, and I don't think they should.
Yeah.
I think
they should go back again line. If they don't work, well, Midleague is smart enough to give him. He's going to be the extra player to go jump on each line and get at least some time and get adjusted to the game. And that's where they should do the rehabilitation for get back in the lines, because right now, what was it? Spinner. Was it Spinner, Reynolds, and Denis, Reynolds, and Vivicek? Was it that line? Spiner, Reynolds.
Regardless, the whole QMJHL nicknamed that line the Magic Line. Like there was, people couldn't stop them. We were, even us in the beginning of the year, is all the team has to do is figure out how to stop that first line, and we're beat. So getting that line back together would be, in my opinion, it would be stupid not to at least try it again.
No.
Right?
That would be the magic recipe, right?
Yeah.
And Paul keep going what you're doing, bud, on the fourth line, and he's great right now. That's where he should be eventually in the years after in the future. He'll be really good, and I think it'll be deadly later.
Oh, 100%.
And with Lou, who will be another player that will be deadly later on, especially next year. Next year, I think will be their year to just grow in a better place, because they're not gonna have as much guys like Dumais. The talent that they're there, but sometimes it's just a weird how they do their talent and they tripped up. They have always obstacle. Like Dumais been having obstacle, but he's doing the points. That's what I mean. Like it's really hard to get like a constant pace. It's like Milner. Milner, same thing. Jack, when he goes, you're going
off on a tangent, Steve. We got to get back to game one, man. What did you guys think about the officiating?
You know what?
Nah.
I thought it was shit. I thought it was absolute shit. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when a fight goes to the ground, it's over. You're supposed to stop it, not pick the guy back up and suplex him back on the ground. That, I get that Lou is a tough kid, but he was slammed on the ground twice before another player came over to try to break it up, before the ref even tried to break it up.
Because the refs were preoccupied with everything else that was going on.
The fight that they were trying to break up was Todd and I think Martin, and that was broken up by the time he got thrown down the second time.
Well, because the ref had Todd and he was trying to get him to the box.
Yeah,
because Todd kept trying to go after him.
Todd came back out of the box. We're lucky we didn't get something for that.
They were trying to get Todd to the box and stuff. That's what the refs were already tied up. They can't just drop what they're doing when two guys are trying to go at it to go stop something else that's going on. Because if they jump away from Todd and the other guy, then they're going to go right back at it. You're not going to get control of it.
Todd came back out to try to defend Lou at one point, and that could have been...
Did he actually come out? Because it didn't look like it from my angle. It didn't look like when he got in the box, he stayed in the box.
So I didn't see it personally, so I can't comment if it's fact or not, but somebody did tell me that he went back out and they spoke to him after the game, and he admitted that he shouldn't have went back out the box.
So from my angle, he did where I sit.
Yeah. Regardless, if he did get out of the box, we're lucky we didn't get called for that.
But overall, like for the refereeing there, for this game, it was all about the Moosehead get the power plays, but the Islanders was doing sloppy plays, so that's why you get the penalty right away.
Yeah, they're very cheap.
There was a lot of couple slashing and holding, and I think that was the only one of those penalty holding.
So
and they called the holding on against the PEI, but they called the holding on the Alpex. So I was like, okay, well that's kind of weird. If you call it holding, be more constant in there. But there was a lot of penalties in this game.
Joanne says, yes, he did.
I see it. I just watched the video. When Jake Todd went towards to break up the Lou Levesque, the door to the penalty box was not even open. I just watched the video you put up.
Oh, okay. All right. So Jared says Curry literally threw one of the Islander players in the box. Now, I did see that, and that was hilarious, but should the ref be manhandling the players like that? I mean, he was just beaking off. He wasn't still fighting.
No, he was pushing at the ref.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't see it like
he
that.
Was pushing back
he was
at
just
him.
trying to turn around. And...
I'm surprised.
No, he was pushing right back at him.
That.
And then that's why Curry was losing it on him when he was in the box. And then they were trying to kick them out, and the Islander players were refusing to leave.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were telling him that they got to go, that they got to go, that they got to go, and they were shaking their head no. And he goes, "Get out!" And they were saying no. It wasn't until they realized that the Moosehead players were being kicked out too that they actually got up and went. So I understand where they were coming from. Like, if you're going to tell us to leave, you got to tell them to leave too, because they were all involved. But at the same time, if they tell you to go...
Yeah, they don't have the right to argue with the officials.
say to you.
You have
You're not
every
supposed to
right
touch
you can.
them, or
No,
You
if, a
cannot
ref,
touch
if a
them.
ref says you got to go, you got to go. Period.
How many?
Yeah.
Like they should
Yeah,
have just
but I
left.
see. But I see
And
where they
Langell-
were. I see where they were coming from. With if you're going to kick us out, you got to kick them out.
But if I
I get that, but that's not up to them. That's not their job is to shoot the puck. Their job isn't to argue.
But I also believe.
stuff.
I also believe the one that who was it? The one that they were arguing with.
How many would you
I
have?
think he had an A or a C, so he's allowed to talk to them.
Yeah, 100%. But
He's allowed to go at them.
But the way you said it is that they outright refused. You can't
They did.
outright refuse. That's like saying, I'm not going to be in handcuffs, officer. That's not you. The courts decide that. You know, the Q decides that shit after the game. But you listen to the rest when they tell you to do something. Period. Right?
Yeah,
That's my
but
opinion
that's
on
the
it
thing.
anyway.
When Jack Martin was just on the bench and just like wait until there, when Langell told him to go out, but he stayed at the bench the whole time, and I think the linesman went to tell him like, "You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be out." And he was like, "Oh, okay." So he went out. I don't know why. Like you told Colin, like when the referee tells you you're out of there, you're out,
Yeah.
right? So
The coach will deal with
I
that
mean,
shit.
he didn't listen. So, but I don't think you'll have consequences of that. But it should. But
There
the
was
thing
no
is,
consequences because everybody played the next game. Speaking
exactly.
Speaking of the next game, we were in Moncton for a 3-1 loss.
3-2.
No, 3-2.
3-2.
Okay, 3-2 loss. So
It was a close one. We were leading 2-1, I think, at one point.
It's a better game than what I
And,
thought it was going to be.
So we had some players out, and we also lost Jake in the first, and he is now injured.
And that's Furlong.
Yeah,
Jake
Furlong,
Yeah. That's gonna suck because we ended up running 5 defense the rest of that game, and the boys were tired. You can visibly see how tired them boys were.
But they gave her all tried to get the third goal and tie it up. But the thing is, I don't know. They were missing the energy of a captain there. I think that, like you said, that's the thing. I don't know. It was a Muller show the whole game. They were pressing when they put that line in, and just press, and they got the end of it.
Joanne
says that's the resume of Miller.
Joanne says
Muller.
Milner.
That's how you call his name.
Mueller.
Oh, Mueller.
Mueller.
Mule.
It was hard to. It was hard to hear on the CHL app there.
Ferris Mueller.
Yeah.
Joanne,
if we play them in the second round, I am bringing a sign of Ferris Bueller on a float, but it's going to be Mueller.
Yeah, buddy. Joanne says that penalties really ruined that for us. She says we got to stop giving up penalties in the last few minutes. We did it in the first and the second period, she says, and I agree wholeheartedly.
You know what? No, I'm going to put the blame on one person.
No, don't do that.
The blame's on one person this whole time. I'm calling somebody out straight up.
Tyler?
I'm calling out Joanne.
Oh.
Joanne, how many times were you watching the game and you were like, oh, they're going to come down, and boom, and then they score.
Yeah.
And
She does
you
it
do it
at
all the
every
time
game,
when they're
though.
here.
She does it at every game.
Exactly. But I'm putting that one on her just because I know for a fact she was sitting at home doing it, trying to bug Tyler.
I know I'm biased because he's my favorite player, but poor Schulte. The boy got hit with more pucks than Milner did. Milner?
Yeah, he got hit with more pucks than Milner did because Milner was sitting on the bench.
So he got hit with more pucks than Russo
No,
did.
your first statement was actually true.
So in this game, there was mostly roughing penalties in this game, and just some newses penalties around there for both teams. But the roughing penalty, I think that's going to be probably fade out one or two, or one on each side, probably in the playoffs and stuff like that. But that's the thing, the difference between regular season and the playoff. I think that was a preview, a little bit of a playoff run, like you say, for second round. That would be great.
You think that was a
It's gonna be real tight.
You think that was a preview for playoffs?
Second round.
The second round.
The second round, if we
Second
play
round.
against Moncton,
If we
the
play,
way that they
if we
the way that
play-
they
if
played
we
against
play-
each other.
Yeah, exactly.
The way we
It'll be a
played-
rough.
The
a
way
rough
we
round.
played is not the way we're going to play in the playoffs.
No, but
No,
way.
but he's talking about the phicality and all of that
yeah.
stuff in the game,
But I
not
didn't-
just the
roughing
way
and
that we
stuff like
played.
that.
I didn't even see much
Yeah.
of that from our guys that game. There was a couple good hits by Schultze. LFD was hitting a bit, but it wasn't like with Cape Breton. Like there was not as much
No.
physicality. I feel like our
So
boys were
we-
sick
we-
and injured and hurt.
We
and
were more
tired.
physical than them. We had more hits than them
Did we?
in the night.
Wow, that surprises me.
And
It didn't look
I
like that.
just
type of
double
game.
checked the stats
Yeah,
to
I'm
make
not
sure
di-
that I was actually correct
I'm
on
not
that.
disagreeing with you. It didn't feel that way to me. To me, it felt like a very dragging game. Like the boys didn't want to play or couldn't play or whatever. They all looked tired. It was a bad game.
I think people had the expectation of this game was possibly going to be a loss. I think people had that feeling the day before. I've even heard people mention it. Like, I think the one up, I think tomorrow, I think is the one that Moncton might get us. I don't know the reason behind it, but it did have that feel for
Yeah.
whatever reason. I think it's because where we finally beat them here, maybe we felt like they're going to come out and play hard, which we actually outplayed them for the first little bit.
Oh, the first
And
period was
then-
good. The first period was good. Yeah, I agree.
And then we just got tired.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that had to do with running five defensemen. Schultze was visibly tired.
So just one point there for the shot on goals. Like we were undershot for 2 periods in a row in that game too.
Yeah, and then we lost him in the third.
Half the shots per period, and then the third period that's where we put more shots because such a penalties or tried to get the puck to the net at the last couple minutes to get the tying goal. I think that's the only thing that happened there. So you could see the regime of when Jake went down Furlong. So it makes a low tiny hole in this one. For
I will
shots.
say this: at the end, when it was less than 2 minutes left and the whistle went, Moncton took a penalty. They should have pulled Russo right there,
away.
right at the
As soon as-
face-off.
as soon
It
as
should
they-
have been.
As soon as they got possession, 100%.
No, that they pretty much did that. They should have pulled him with the face-off down in their end and started with 6 guys down in their end. I would have pulled him right away, and then you have the full time. You get possession, you're able to get your guys set up and do it.
I get the hesitance. Though. I understand
But no other team does it. No other league does it. If the teams are down and it's 1 goal and they have that power play, they're starting with 6 guys down there.
Even last year when it was a different coach, we never pulled our goalies for the most part until under a minute. Whether it's what the team does or
I would have done it the second the penalty got called and you realize that you had a 6-on-4.
I'm happy with doing it when we get possession, because let's face it, you said it yourself. Our face-off wins aren't what they should be, and it just takes a lucky shot from behind their net, or them getting the puck and lead pass to center ice, and then that's another goal.
Yeah, that makes no difference than if we pull it then when we got possession, because if we take a shot, all it takes is for them to clear it one time. It's the exact same argument.
No, it's not. It's a little safer to have possession when you pull your goalie. You can't debate that. Come on, it's not debate.
So
It's the exact same argument.
So you're telling me that the strategy, the best that when you get the penalty, you got 5 players on the ice, and the goalie could go halfway, and as soon as they win the face-off, that's where you get the ready. Not past the blue line, because you're not allowed to do that as a goalie, but you could go a little bit further just to make sure you're ready if they're clearing the puck right away. As soon as you win the face-off, put it at the point, and have to pass and shuffle it to the other side for the opposite side, so the goalie could go in and at least fill the left side and get going for the 6-on-4 there.
Trevor says,
But that would be a better strategy than pull right away the goalie. that's a more common strategy they put in the NHL, or the 10 minutes. They pull the goalie at 10 minutes, but that's another thing.
That's a
That's when
thing.
they need the point immensely. But this there, you couldn't try it. Pull the goalie right away, win the face-off with Vivicek or Cataford.
And we did end up winning possession on that.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah,
100%.
So basically, as a coach, I mean the best strategy is just pull the goalie right away, or you go halfway. But the thing is, there's nothing implication in this game. You could have just pulled it, like you say, Colin. I agree with that. You just pull it and be done with it, and try it there. And if they score in the empty net, they score in the empty net. Whoop-de-doo. It's one less point.
Well, also that game ended up being pretty much a nothing game when it came to the standings or anything. We didn't have anything to lose. We didn't have anything to gain. So why not go out there if you have a feeling? Why not go out there and do it right now? Because if you do it and it works, that's something that you can have in your arsenal when it comes to a later date where you could potentially do it, rather than waiting. And then you got to wait for the goalie to get from the net to the bench and then the player to get there. That's 10 seconds right there that you could have been setting up a play, and then you still got to set that up. That ends up being another 20 seconds that you're eating into the penalty where you could have had 6 guys already in there.
So you talk a lot about win and momentum. Win would have been better that game, right?
Yes.
It would have been, but
okay,
it was even said by the mooseheads
I
that
sat
was
back here quietly and let you guys talk about it, so let me have my say. You talk about momentum. A win would have been better, correct? So
yes.
If we pull it out at 2 minutes and they, as Trevor says, have infinite amount of shots at the empty net without missing, and they get one more on us, then that's guaranteed a loss if they get possession of that puck. The right move, in my opinion, only my opinion, I get that you may have a different opinion, but in my opinion, waiting until we have possession and going at 6-on-4 was the right call, in my opinion only. Okay.
Going 6-on-4 was the right call. We both agreed that Midgley, they should pull the goalie. But if I go back in our texts, and I even sent you a message, I was like, they should pull Russo right away. And you said, I said the same thing. That was as soon as the penalty got called.
Yeah, I did. But then, I mean, I'm allowed to think about it and be like, you know.
Did they call a 30-second timeout in that there? I didn't follow that one. Did they?
There was a 30-second timeout. I just don't know when it was. I know it was near the end of the game. I just don't know if it was at the penalty stage or not.
No, I would have called a 30 seconds timeout and pull the goalie. It'll be the 2-check right away. 2 minutes left. Just plan what you want and go for it.
But we didn't get the even with the 2 extra attackers, we weren't able to get the point to bring us into overtime, which it is what it is. We got a loss. We can sit here and we can debate all day on what we could have done differently, but the fact of the matter is we lost.
You know what we needed to do differently? Score more.
That's right. The person with the highest goals wins.
Yeah, it's not goal.
Fuck. That's right. Shit. Can somebody call Mitch Lee and let him know?
Can somebody call the team and let them know?
All right. So, we got 2 out of 4 points this week. It's all good. There's only 4 more points left up for grab. It is in St. John's against the Sea Dogs.
I think this is going to be the absolute hardest games that they're going to play all year. Oh, I'm not joking.
What?
I am not joking one bit.
What?
St. John's fighting for the last playoff spot. They're going to must-win spot right now, whereas Mooseheads can just kind of coast. St. John, these games mean something. They need both of these wins. They need as many points as they can get. They're going to come out. They're going to play hard.
What's our record? Yeah. What's our series record with them this year? Do we know? I should have checked that out.
We have them beat. By
far.
Them dominated.
I'm just curious if they beat us once at all.
They did. Peter Reynolds scored the game-winning goal in overtime.
Oh, that's right, at home.
Yep. I'll pull it up right now.
Peter Reynolds. The only player on the team with one name.
Yeah, and he scored back-to-back 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. And when he scored his old team, and he went down, he was like, I scored in my own team. And he's kind of just froze there. And
our record against them our record against them this year is 4 wins, 1 loss, and 1 overtime loss.
Okay.
Okay.
So they beat us twice.
They beat us twice.
And,
They have 1 win, so 2. They have 3 points against us, but they're gonna be playing hard.
Yeah.
I truly think it's gonna be the hardest games that they're gonna play all year.
I don't think they have what it takes to beat us, whether they play hard or not. But I don't care if we lose either. I'd be fine with them putting all call-ups in and fucking, move third and fourth line up. I don't really care. Just rest the boys. Be fresh for the 29th. That's all I give a shit about. So getting off the games now, can we talk about Hal's nose?
Oh.
What the hell? Guys, can we get Hal a new nose?
I'm gonna say this. He looks like the South Park version of Michael Jackson, where he just starts melting, everything starts falling off.
Oh, it's bad, man. It's bad. Boys, we got to fix that.
It'll be done by next year.
Well, we got some time. Can we get it done before playoffs? He's scaring the shit out of the kids.
He's a robot. Yeah, they were calling him a robot.
We have a big day coming up tomorrow. Does anybody know what it is? Why do I look red? I look red.
It's Tuesday. Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Do we know what Tuesday is?
The second day of the work
19.
week.
Does anybody know what March 19th is?
Oh God, no, I don't know.
Big
and I
W
Tyler.
Big W
Tyler.
Yeah, he's gonna be 29.
But we celebrate. I tried to do happy birthday Tyler against Charlottetown there. Say happy birthday, didn't catch on.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, I did.
Zach wasn't on the ice to do it.
Yeah,
or Todd, because I think Todd would have done it if he was out there for the end of the game.
Big W Tyler is going to be 29. He's going to be 29 tomorrow. Yeah. Happy birthday, buddy. We love you to death. I hope you have an amazing day tomorrow.
Definitely.
We think we're going to.
It's also a big day for something else.
Are we talking about guests?
Yeah.
Okay. I had that at the end, but we can talk about that now. We got a great show tomorrow that we will upload away.
It'll be filmed tomorrow.
What's tomorrow?
Or are you putting it up tomorrow's Tuesday?
No, we'll put it up Wednesday, and you guys get a chance to watch it then. Cam Russell is going to come on the show tomorrow.
Cam.
That's going to be a really fun one. We're not going to do a live. He said he may be down for a live, and I suggested him not do a live. Just because it was so high profile, and he said maybe in the future he will do a live with us. Let's see how this one goes, right? But he was gracious enough to accept the offer to be on the show, and he seems really excited, so I'm pumped to have him on.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then the day after go ahead, you can tell this
we got Scott McIntosh, who's been absolutely phenomenal when it comes to communicating with Colin there, when it comes to stuff for this channel and figuring things out and just communication back and forth. It's been absolutely amazing. So I want to say thank you to Scott and Cam for both agreeing to come on. I saw Cam just before he went out and did the 20-year-old ceremony, and again thanked him in person for agreeing to come on, and he seems actually really excited to do it.
Yeah, it'll be fun to have him on, man.
You should ask him. You should ask him to wear his old jersey of Blackhawks, just to the hell, the nice red one.
One of them's in Cole Harbor Place. One of them's in the Cole Harbor Place. The red one's in the Cole Harbor Place.
Oh yeah,
it's on display in the Cole Harbor Place. It's kind of cool.
I'm kind of tempted to put up Chicago Blackhawks jersey that I got.
Yeah, do it. Whatever, as long as it doesn't say Blizzard.
No, it says Flurry.
It says Flurry.
There was something I was going to get to about the channel. Oh yeah, so our good friend Adam with the Wildcast podcast has informed me it is incredibly easy to get media credentials for the draft. Yep. So we are going to apply for that next month. Should we get it, me and Dylan and my wife are going to go up, and we're going to go to the draft and film it and talk to the boys that we draft, and yeah, so that'll be a blast.
Awesome.
Congratulations. That'd be fun.
Nothing's confirmed yet, but we're being worked on.
We're working on it. Yep. Roosters Mass, do you think we'll see that by playoffs or before playoffs or at all?
Oh, it's already done, so it'll be probably playoff, I would say.
So it's been hell trying to get that mask to him. There's been so many issues trying to get it to him, but he does have it now, and I'm just curious, when do you think he's going to break it out, or if he's going to break it out?
The last game?
You think last game?
I would say probably the last game.
I think he waits till home.
You think what?
When he
I
goes
think he waits. I think he waits to the playoffs.
You think he waits to playoffs?
playoff.
But
Big
at the
show?
same time, like he's most likely been wearing it during practice to get used to it. And if he doesn't like it, we won't see it.
Yep. Or if he feels superstitious.
Right? That could be the reason that we don't see it. He just might not like how it feels. He might be superstitious. He might want to kick the helmet that he got.
Yeah.
I still like his emblem that says HMCS Halifax. I love it.
That's
Is that a sign that Matis Rousseau will join the Navy?
I love that he
I
has
don't know. That would be
Hextall.
great. That would be amazing.
I love that he has Hextall on it. I wish he was a little bit more chippy
Yes.
like Hextall, though.
Yes. And get a fight.
Yeah, I love that guy. I love Hextall. Our 20-year-old send-off was again with the game with the Islanders there Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good ceremony. I love that they did that for them, and then they got all 3 stars, which is I love that they did that too. I think it was a nice way to
So
honor
they
them.
brought that back this year. Usually, that's always how it is. The 20-year-olds get the 3 stars. Did not happen last year.
No, I don't remember it. I don't remember it at all.
2 of the 3 got it, but he did not. Or I believe it was Bush that did not. I think Lawrence and Doucette did, and Bush did not.
That's sad.
Boucher now.
It's sad that Lawrence and
Because-
Doucette got it, and the guy that's been with us the whole time didn't.
But I think the reason that he didn't is because there was a player that had like 4 or 5 points
Oh,
that game. But still, like in my opinion, that's still something you.
yeah.
Okay, cool. You got 4 or 5 points. Whatever. Go sit down. Here's a little pat on the back. Go sit down.
All right. So we're going to discuss this for literally a minute, and it's going to be over with, and we're not going to talk about it on this channel ever again.
Okay.
Dumais got a DUI. It's in the news. Everybody knows about it. I will say this. There's people out there bad-mouthing him and saying he only got 5 games. But let's be clear. He got more for what he did than you or me. Because he still has to do all the same things. He loses his license. He has to pay the fines. He has to pay extra on his insurance. He can't drive for a certain amount of time. But he also got punished by the team. So not only did he get everything that me and you would get, he also got a suspension for 5 games, not to play the game that he loves, that he's been training and fighting to get back to. So for all you who think he's not punished enough, the kid's punished. It was a mistake. Mistake might be the wrong word. It was a bad decision that he made, and let's hope he bounces back. He never does it again. He's learned his lesson, and that's that. I'll give you guys the floor if you want to say anything, and then we'll squash it completely. No?
You want to go? You want to go first?
Colin, you know how I feel, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Okay. Good? All right. Moose Tracks part...
One thing. I do hope he does learn from it and does not do it again.
Yeah. 100%.
And I truly think he will, and I don't think it should absolutely ruin his life like some people are saying.
Yeah, I agree. Moose Tracks Part 4. When do we think that's coming out?
It's already announced March 26th.
Is it March 26th? I looked for something on their YouTube.
26.
Was it on the actual video? The trailer?
They teased it. It's in the trailer at the end of it.
Okay, I didn't pay attention to that much of it. I don't like it to have spoilers, so I wanted to wait and see the whole thing and not the preview. So, okay, March 26th. You said March 26th?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so March 26th, the Moose Tracks Part 4, which should be the last one of the year, I would think, unless they do one for playoffs. So pay attention to the Mooseheads YouTube, Facebook, so on and so forth. I love those videos. I know, some people have different opinions about it, but I love it. 30K giveaway is over. What was the best prize?
The trips.
It was the trips. Yeah, definitely.
That's why they were
the
last
iPad
3.
for certainly person who won the iPad. There, it was great. I guess. And the kitchenware, poor Melissa didn't have it.
Dumais got the second star on the last game last year.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool that they did that. Melissa's kind of mad at me. Sorry, my wife is kind of mad at me because every time it would roll, I would say Melissa Landry, and so I was jinxing it. So she got mad at me. New York says Joanne. Cookware says Melissa. I don't think there was anything on that prize list that I wanted, to be honest.
I'll say there's a few things that I didn't.
What's that?
Was it the $1,000 for gas there?
I'd take
that
that.
would be great.
I would take that. What didn't you want there, Dylan?
What's Hobies?
I didn't want the AirPods Pro. I didn't care about the cookware. Right, like just things like that. That I was just like, eh.
Someone.
I would have taken the iPad, just because that you can use that separately. But the AirPods Pro, like you pretty much have to have an Apple for them to be compatible properly.
My wife had a side deal with both of you guys. If you guys got the cookware and she got the trip, you guys were trading.
I'm surprised on that 30K prize, whatever, didn't have like a package of. Well, they did have the gift card for the concessionaire, like for food or floating all stuff. They should have put like a little package, like get like a jersey signed by, I don't know, Nathan McKinnon or anybody that under 30 years.
Yeah,
coming.
I think they could have had more stuff from former players.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I meant. Like former players, that would have been a great idea. And also, for the fan appreciation night, they should have put like I thought about that idea like in like 2.2 seconds, like a pack of card, like a normal pack of card, and then it's got the Moosehead logo with the 30th anniversary on there.
So
that
they
would
did
be
that.
Cool.
They did that for the 25-year anniversary. I unfortunately did not get a pack. Which, throwing this out there, if anybody has an unopened pack or a full set that they're willing to sell, let me know.
What is
but
it?
They did 25 top, I believe it was fan voted players, and they did that as a hockey set card, or as like a hockey card
that's
set.
Cool.
And so it was players throughout the years. Like you had Jagir in there, Shelley was in there, McKinnon, Drouin. Like it was just all over the years. So I think if they would have done something like that, it would have been really cool.
Was it a full team? Like, 6 defense, 12 forwards, and 2 goalies? Like,
no, it was 25. It was 25 players.
Okay, I thought maybe you they put a team together of the past, the best players.
No, it was the team set, like the way that this year's team sets are, the ones that are $50.
No, I get that.
Signed.
I get that, but I'm wondering if they did a set like with positions too, like what I mean?
No.
That'd be kind of cool. I don't have anything else to chat about. We went through our list. I'm happy. But if you guys have something you want to chat about, or if the chat has something, I feel bad. I didn't get 1 second. I didn't get to the chat very much at all today. There was just a lot of information, and having the wildcast guys on tonight kind of put a bit of a time crunch on getting to the chat. So I apologize. You guys know it's not typical. It is let us be heard, and I typically read every one of your guys' comments, but you guys were amazing in the comment section. Like, I'm scrolling and scrolling. You guys were so vocal, man. I love you guys all so much. Sorry, go ahead there, Steve.
Okay. Well, this joke there from the joke book from Ian Robinson. So we'll do it right away. But this joke we're live to the time that Nick Healers dove a lot. Well, that's around that joke. So, why are swimmers good at hockey?
Why are swimmers good at hockey? They're used to taking dives.
Yeah, they dive a lot.
Okay.
Well. It's just the way that they said it there. But to talking about the diving, Nick Ehlers, where the referee was calling him diving all time for penalty, and that's been really rare. in the past a lot of time. This year, I didn't see it very often. The 2 minutes penalty for diving, but that's one thing that they phased out kind of. I don't know if you got the same thought about that, Dylan.
Yeah, the embellishment, they don't really call that anymore.
Yeah, they don't call it very much, and I think they should bring it back because sometimes the players are really faking it.
I'm okay if it's the
terrible.
same. If it's the same player 3 times a game, they should be definitely called on it. But I mean, for one time, I don't care.
Yeah,
right.
But it's really rare that you see that penalty again. And I mean, I don't know. It shouldn't be in the playoff, but during the season, I think that should be one of them. Because there's a lot of players that are thinking, oh, they got hit in the face, and they just do a big act of it, and you're like, listen, like that was not that bad.
No.
And or some it's like a soccer game. I hate soccer when they do that.
Well,
they just fake it and just go down.
A high stick, it doesn't have to actually cause you pain for it to be a high stick. So if it hits your visor, that's a way of letting the official know he hit my head, right? Like.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm fine with it.
Anyway, guys,
not all the time.
I gotta go.
All right, that's it for us. Anyway,
I'm good.
I hope you're all healthy, safe, and happy out there. And as always, go Moose, go.